Hi, my name is Mrs. Dorothy. I'm doing a PowerPoint presentation on how to deal with poverty in the UK. Subtitles are Measurement, Evaluation, and Change over Time. This presentation was compiled on the 10th October 2025. Let's proceed to the next slide. What does it mean when you don't have enough money? Not having enough money to pay for basic needs like food, a place to live, medical treatment is called poverty. Furthermore, it makes it tougher to make choices, feel good, and be part of the society. When people in the UK talk about poverty, they often use the terms absolute and relative. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation 2023 believe that poverty means not having enough money to cover basic needs. Furthermore, in the UK, people often talk about poverty, absolute poverty, which is about remaining alive, and relative poverty, which is about social participation and inequality. ONS 2023. Next slide. Absolute poverty is being poor in every way. A certain level of poverty means not being able to buy items you need to stay alive. Secondly, many people think of this as an international poverty level like $2.15 a day. Thirdly, when compared to the rest of the globe, very few people in the UK live in complete poverty. Evaluation. It's good for comparing countries. It doesn't show how people living standards in the UK are changing or what people want. Secondly, people who are in the extreme poverty can't even afford the bare minimum they need to stay alive. DWP 2024. Lastly, even if they aren't common in other parts of the world, there are still some types of poverty in the UK. For example, people who sleep on the streets and acquire their food from the food banks. JRF 2023. Next slide. Relative poverty is how being poor affects other people. It defined by income and the way of life of other people. Secondly, in the UK, income is less than 60% of the national median. It also focuses on getting people interested and included in society. Its evaluations. It shows how unfair things are and how much it costs to live currently. Secondly, things may not improve even if the government generates more revenue. Relative poverty look at how people live compared to the average level of comfort. The UK defines this as an income level less than 60% of the median household income, DWP 2024. Lastly, it's helpful since it shows inequality and social exclusion instead of just survival. ONS 2023. Next slide. I'm going to compare absolute and relative poverty. And the absolute, the, there is lack of basic needs, relative income below 60% of the median. Absolute, there is survival, and the relative, there is social inclusion. And the absolute is useful for global comparison. Relative, in developed countries. Absolute limitations ignore social change. Relative, it's sensitive is sensitive to economic shift. When comparing countries, it is helpful to think about absolute poverty. Relative poverty is better approach to look at inequality in the UK today. SMC 2023. Next slide. A timeline of changes in the poverty in the UK. In the 19th century, many people became poor because of industrialization. In the 1940s to the 1960s, the welfare state and the NHS helped poor people get out of poverty. The gap between the rich and the poor got worse in the 1980s, and so the child poverty. In the 2000s, programs to help people were introduced to get out of poverty. 2010s and the 2020s, it's cut to help, and other programs made more people use food banks and work while living in poverty. Over the years, poverty in Britain has changed. It was common and complete in the 19th century, but now it is largely about social exclusion and inequality. The welfare state did a lot of cut down on poverty, but recent cuts have made things worse. BBC News 2024, JRF 2023. Next slide. How to tell how poor someone is. Firstly, its measures are based on income, like having an income that is less than 60% of the median. Secondly, not having access to basic needs like clothes, heating, internet is what we call material deprivation. Thirdly, the Social Metrics Commission statistics looks at things like unavoidable cost, income, and housing. Fourthly, subjective measures how people feel about being poor. There were a lot of different metrics that the UK utilizes. Indicators based on income are easily understand, but they don't tell the whole story. The Social Metrics Commission's method looks at income, housing, and unavoidable costs like bills for the daycare and disability. Material deprivation and subjective aspects elucidate the concept of poverty. ONS 2023. Next slide. Current poverty in the UK. Around 14.4 million people in the poverty. ONS 2023. 1 in 5 children lives below the poverty line. In work, poverty is increasing. Many poor households include employed adults. According to the most available data, almost 14.4 million people in the UK live in poverty. ONS 2023.